My dad lived to be 84, mother lived to be 93. They showed us hard work, they showed us tenacity, they showed us many, many virtues. My father, he was in the Navy from 1942 to 46. That was during our biggest war, World War II. He grew up during that time. There were 15 million people that were in the military and 15 million people needed jobs when World War II was over. And during that time on the ship, he had some shipmates that said they were interested in starting a funeral home. And he thought that might be a good idea. So he was one of those 15 million, and he picked the funeral home industry. He was a student of life, and he taught you to be a student of life. I decided at the young age of 16 that I wanted to be a doctor, and then it's been no turning back since. I was in the Navy for 24 years. I wanted to see the world, and I wanted to serve my country. I swore in the west side, right by Meade Johnson. There used to be the old Marine Hospital there, where I swore in 1973. I worked at 3 major hospitals: Bethesda Naval Hospital, Oakland Naval Hospital, and San Diego Naval Hospital. I was in the Persian Gulf War for about 2 months. When I was in the Persian Gulf War, it gave me empathy of soldiers in all wars. We were a helicopter ship with about 46 helicopters on board, and we had 1,500 Marines on board. I was age 39 at that time, and it was one of the saddest times in my life because I didn't think I was coming back. Many soldiers go through that. I got rid of those thoughts and went on and served my country. We've lost over 1 million soldiers in all the wars of the United States, and those soldiers have paid the ultimate price. And I realize what they did for us and what they did for our freedom, and I cherish all that. When I retired from the Navy at age 46 in 1997, I joined the practice with Ed Fox and Tony Stevens. And it's been the most joyful experience of my life. There is a warmth, there's a kindness, there's a gratitude. I can't describe how this happens, but it's beautiful for our patients that are facing problems in life. When you're dealing about cancer, you're dealing about blood diseases, people are very fearful when they walk into my office. So I have to make them more at ease. It's my job to make them relax. Each patient that I lose a little bit of my heart. And even though it's hard at the time, I do come back. Many people ask me why I'm an oncologist and how can I do that every day. It's probably the most satisfying career anyone could have. When I tell a patient they're doing fine, when I tell them they have beat all the odds in the world, I call some of my patients little miracle childs. And when they walk out, the experience I have in my heart can't be relayed in words.
I would like for him to really know how much I appreciate him, the comfort that it gives me to know he may have to rush on some days, but when I really need him, I know that he would be there. In January of this year, I had an emergency. He was going to have to go out of town, but yet he went with me to the hospital, and I did have emergency surgery in the midst of the chemo, but he was there.
We have built some friendships with some of Mark's patients. One of my favorites in his low 90s, and we work in his garden together. And we've been canning together for probably 5 or 6 years. And it's just a friendship that's really developed over the years, and that's just one of many.
Became acquainted with his wife, Jennifer. We've been good friends ever since. I went to see Dr. Browning, and he said that I did have stomach cancer, and he took great care of me. And after several weeks, I was back on the job, trimming trees and grinding stumps. I'm still trimming trees and grinding stumps at age 89.
I first met my wife in kindergarten at St. Benedict's Grade School about 1956. We went all the way through St. Benedict's Grade School of 8 years and then Memorial High School of 4 years together. I was very shy and scared to make things any more than just love from a distance. It took a long time to start dating. I got enough guts enough to ask her out about when I was 27, and I asked her out again around age 30.
I take a long time in making decisions. And before Dad passed away, he looked at Mom and said, he's the one. We got married in Evansville in 1985 at St. Mary's Church downtown. Mark was in his formal Navy attire. Our wedding was beautiful.
I started my medical school at the Indiana University School of Medicine, Evansville campus in 1973. This was the second year of our medical school in Evansville. It's actually been here 45 years. We've had students in Evansville for a long period of time. Today, the new medical center that I'm still teaching at is named after my first cousin, Bill Stone, and his wife, Mary O'Daniel Stone, because of their generous donation of $15 million to the medical education for the Evansville area. Medical care that's provided in Evansville, Indiana is superb. Any of my family that gets sick, they don't go out of town, they stay here. And St. Vincent's has been in our family for many, many years, and they've been a stellar place to implement our practice. You read the history of St. Vincent de Paul, he was the epitome of a person that gives. He was the epitome of a person that could deal with adversity. He was a leader and helped people of need. My sister Becky Browning Carter is still practicing nursing at St. Vincent's Hospital.
I've been a nurse for 40 years, and I actually work in the same suite where Mark worked with oncology hematology back in early 2000. As a brother, Mark was always there for you. And I remember when I was in nursing school, and I remember saying, Mark, would you help me learn the bones of the skeletal system? And he wouldn't think twice about stopping and quizzing me and helping me learn nursing.
My sister Charlene is a graduate of Indiana University School of Nursing, but does no longer practice nursing. She writes biographies.
We interview the family at the time that the person has died. We interview all the relatives and find out what their life has been like and write their story. I like to tell Mark, as he grew up, we were good friends, and I never realized what he would be in life, and I'm very proud of him.
And my other sister Jeannie runs my father's funeral home at this time.
I worked for my father for over 25 years at the funeral home, and he was preparing me for the ownership, and we were a father-daughter team and a one-of-a-kind. Mark, as the only boy with 3 sisters, had a tough time at our house. The phone, the bathroom, the kitchen, all off limits to him. Mark Browning is the most unbelievable person you'll ever touch in your life. He will be there for you through thick and thin.
My mother and father are both interested in genealogy. My father registered and logged the genealogy history of every person that ever died in Evansville from 1905 till the time he died. We have over 6 people that are logging in obituaries on a daily basis. We have close to 400,000 cards that are registered in our files that are now scanned and indexed on the internet. People come to us and they say, oh, I found a family member that I never knew about. I found my mother, I found my father, I found a great aunt. They are about in tears. Many people come to us and say, thank you for doing this service.
There is never anyone that has had more energy, more enthusiasm, an appetite to learn, a zest for life.
Everybody has a sounding board in life. Jennifer has been my sounding board. I have good days and I have bad days, and I need to bounce it off somebody. She is my #1 confidant. She is a great balancer of life. She's a balancer just as I saw my father and mother. She's a balance act, and she balances my zest for life.